Miss Amaker. We're going to do Watercolor 101 today. Notice I have my subject matter, which is an apple. You can use an apple if you like, or you can use any kind of apple. It does not have to be that. Here are the supplies that you're going to need. You're going to need a paintbrush, a pencil, water, paints, paper towel, and some paper. Watercolor paper is the best. I'm going to draw my apple, put in a horizon line, and I like to get my watercolors moist before I start, so I put a dab of clear water in them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint a very light color of green. I'm going to let it dry in between. Then I'm going to paint again, and this time it's a little bit darker. If I want to darken up my green, I use a little bit of brown. I don't use black. Now I'm even a darker green, and I'm putting that over. Remember, I'm letting this dry in between. Now I use a blow dryer because it does make it go faster for me. Now I'm putting in even a darker green. Notice that I'm still keeping that white spot. I use the blow dryer again. Remember, you must let it dry in between. Now I'm using a little bit of brown for the stem and a little bit of light green paint with the brown. And then I'm going to put in just a little bit of yellow over that highlight. Now I'm doing the shadow, and I did it in a blue. Notice how you build the layers up. You build the layers up. So I put in my blue and I let it dry in between. This is called a wash. When you take your brush, you put plain water down first, and then you take a color and you apply it all over. Now be careful not to over scrub, because if you do, you'll put a hole in your paper and it will spill. Remember, the secret to watercolor is watercolor will only go where it's wet. So that's why if you don't want two things to run together, make sure that you dry before you paint next to the section that maybe you just did. Again, I put another darker color on top of the blue so that I can get that a little bit darker. I'm doing a wash again, and I am applying water and then paint. Be careful that you don't get too thick of a paint, because it will make your watercolor painting sticky. Here's the vocabulary words: layer, applying paint from light to dark, and letting it dry in between each time. Okay, watercolor is easy, but you gotta follow the watercolor rules. The next word is wash. It's a flat, even color, and you apply just plain water first, and then you put your color down. Be careful not to over scrub, because you'll put a hole in it.